Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sign the Traitors, the Traitors Canada recap podcast brought to you by Silent Podcasts. I am your host, Katie, and I am here with my wonderful co host, Javier. And we were itching to talk about this episode that we just as soon as we both got on the StreamYard, we pressed live because we obviously have a lot of thoughts to get out. Javier, how are you? How's your week been? It's been a week-ish since we talked. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. This was an interesting episode for me. I came in with certain thoughts and I left with a more positive outlook than I came in.
I'm the opposite.
Um, yeah, so I came in nervous for the episode. I was like, what is this show anymore? I've lost all of my
Yeah.
faves. Sure, I'm rooting for Gurleen, but the good TV for me has gone. But by the end, I was interested to see how the end game is going to play out. What about you, Katie?
I came into this episode hoping that we were going to see the downfall of Mike, and spoiler, we didn't get that. And it seems, unfortunately, like he's in a pretty good position to make it to the end, and I'm very upset about it. So I just have a lot of I don't know. I don't know what any of these people are thinking this episode. So I'm just, I have a lot to process. We'll process it together. I'm excited for the end game. I don't really know what's going to happen, so that's great. But I also am just he can't keep getting away with it, Javier. He can't keep getting away with it. That's how I
You
feel.
see, Yeah, so I think that is why I ended up enjoying the episode because unfortunately, Katie, if this is going to be crazy to say, I'm kind of liking Mike now. And I'm kind of,
Oh my God.
I think halfway through the episode, I made that realization that, if Mike were any other person on a reality TV show and he wasn't Mike, I feel like I'd be rooting for him.
You
So
know, I thought
I've
that too,
decided,
actually.
let me just root for Mike. Sure, he's a little annoying. Like, there's something about him that annoys me. But, if I remove that little aspect of it, he's kind of playing a pretty cutthroat game, which is what I look for in gamers. And after seeing what happened by the end of this episode, I was like, I mean, if Mike were like Kuzi, Kevin, someone who I really liked, I would probably be rooting for him more. So I think I'm still Team Garlene, but I'm not hating Mike anymore. Unfortunately, I do think he's playing a pretty solid game.
I see where you're coming from. I had a similar thought of just Mike is playing a really good villain game, and usually I root for the villains, but he just is not landing for me. But I get where you're coming from. I understand what you're saying. And typically every other season of the Traitors, I've rooted for the Traitors. And this is the one season where I'm like, I don't really want this traitor to win. I really need the Faithfuls to figure him out. But I don't know. He's just not grabbing me.
I hear you. I
My
get it. I
notes,
get it.
my notes the whole time are I think I wrote "fuck you, Mike" 15 times in my notes for this episode. That's how I left feeling. I started feeling that way, and I left
Oh,
feeling that way.
poor Mike. I came in the
Sorry,
opposite. I
Mike.
came to get Mike out now, and it's if Mike could keep freaking playing these people like this, why
I
not give it to
know.
Mike? Let's be honest. That's how I ended up the show. But we'll talk, I
Yeah,
guess, as we
I mean, he's earned it. I guess we can get into it. He's earned it. He had to blackmail someone. We're opening it up. Everybody's celebrating. They're so happy they got Kuzi out, which also started that off on a rough note for me. I'm like, I can't be celebrating about my girl Kuzi. Ugh,
go.
she was done dirty. But Mike is leading the charge. He's like, oh yeah, I worked my magic for you. And I'm like,
Yeah, for you
I
guys. Oh my
truly hate you
god.
so much. I hate him so much. I just can't. I wonder if it's because he's a magician that I feel like this, and then he keeps making these magic jokes. I don't know. Something is just
The
it's
bad
not
magic
hitting for
tongue.
me. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. This is an anti-Mike episode for me, I think. He also said, right now I'm in an incredible position and I'm going to play this game right till the end. And then I was like, okay, maybe we're getting a little foreshadowing here. And he's going to talk himself up, which could still happen, but it didn't. I thought we were going to get it this episode. We didn't. But we see him up in again, I forget what this thing is called,
The
wherever they go to.
conclave,
The
basically. I
conclave.
think it's
Yes.
a
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes. For some reason, that word doesn't stick in my brain. Um, and he's like, oh, then there was one. And here comes Kareen. What we knew was going to happen. He has to blackmail. He has to pick somebody to be a traitor. If they say no, then they die. Do you think there's anybody in this house that would say no and choose to die at this point? Or do you think everybody would have said yes?
Yeah, I think everyone would have said yes. I wrote this down while watching the episode. I'm like, the blackmail, just like last week's twist, it's kind of a dumb twist.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
it's not like you have two good options. It's either you out of the game or you play as a traitor. And I mean, we'll talk about it when we talk about it. That I think he picked the best person who he can easily get out. But yeah, I think it's not a good twist. I wish the blackmail was more so during the episode, throughout the episode, you had to secretly maybe drop hints that like I kind of want to recruit you. Let's say, I don't know. I wish
Yeah.
with the blackmail twist. How do you feel about the twist?
I agree. I mean, I think it's exciting because they have to recruit, and we've been begging and pleading for them to recruit someone this whole season. So I think I like that part of it, but there really is no incentive for any of these people to say no. So,
Yeah.
I think, long story short, I don't think we have to go through all of like the, debating that Mike did to himself. He threw out pretty much everybody's name as a potential. He ended up going with Mickey, which I don't know if that was the best choice for him necessarily. Mickey is someone I would want in the end game if I'm a traitor, because like they're not going to vote. They don't know what's going on. They're not going to vote for me. But it is what it is. But I just like Mickey the whole time was like, I don't want to be a traitor. I hate being a traitor. This sucks.
Yeah.
But he still said yes. It's not like he's going to say no and choose to die anyway. So
Exactly.
I don't know. It just seemed like easy to throw him to the wolves, which is exactly
what
happened.
This is hard for me. Like I feel like yes, recruiting Mickey is like recruiting like someone you should want at the end. Like there's really no purpose in recruiting Mickey, because I agree with you. But then I'm looking at it like through the other lens, which is I think the lens that Mike was looking at it like is, can I get a traitor who I can manipulate?
Yeah.
And I think the easiest person left on the cast to manipulate is Mickey. So I think that's how Mike was looking at it. And again, it really, I said this a few weeks ago, Mike's whole game depends to me, like, is Mike playing a good game? It really depends to me is if he wins next week.
Yeah.
Like if Mike wins, to me, he's played a good game, because in theory, a lot of these moves are just not the best moves. You would think that, yes, he would pick someone like a Gerline, someone who actually has like some mind to actually play a good traitor game. But yeah, I think that's why he picked Mickey at the end of the day, is someone who he can easily manipulate. And I think that's his line of thought. But I can see what you're saying, that it's probably best to have someone like Mickey at the end as well. So I think either end works in it. Kind of just depends how the end game goes for Mike.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like Mike continues to like fail forward, and that is also frustrating me, because even in this episode, I'm going to jump around a little bit, but at the round table, Trevon is still hot on Mike, and there's a mountain of evidence that Trevon has picked up throughout this whole series, and he didn't say any of it. And I'm like, there's so many reasons to point to Mike. He has made so many sloppy game moves. He and Kuzi, I mean, Kuzi was right there with him. Why are we not shouting it at every roundtable, saying like, clearly it's Mike. He's given us the most here, and it's just no one's doing it. So I'm just like, am I mad at Mike, or am I mad at everybody else for not just like clearly getting that it's Mike? Like I don't know. But I agree. I think Mickey, I'm with you. I could see both sides. But if out of everybody on this cast, if I want anybody at the end game, it's Mickey, because I just don't think that Mickey has a POV on who's a traitor. Is there a traitor left? I don't know. I'm just here. Hopefully, no one votes everybody votes and we're good and we can end the game. Everybody else, I think, has a little bit of suspicion on someone or is playing the game, where Mickey wasn't at all. So it's kind of like he probably could have thrown Leroy under the bus pretty easily. I think he probably, if Trevon is someone you want out, recruit Trevon and then just immediately throw him to the wolves as a traitor. Mickey to me just feels like someone I would want to keep. And it's like, why get rid of Mickey? He's not gonna vote me out at the end.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I wouldn't recruit Mickey either, but I agree with you. I would recruit someone who either I think would be a good traitor, or someone who is someone who I want to get out, who I can easily throw into the bus like a Trevon, or someone like a Gerline or Leroy, who I think could potentially be a good traitor. But I wouldn't recruit Mickey either ultimately, because I agree with you. I want someone at the end who knows nothing, like Mickey and Donna. Those are the two. If I'm playing this game, I need Mickey and Donna.
Mickey and Donna need to be at the end. They need to be at the end.
So that's how I would be playing as well.
Yeah. I also, I don't know. Again, I'm going to jump all over the place, but I think maybe it was too soon for Mike to do what he did. There's still one more roundtable left. There's no reason why they couldn't have cut another faithful and then gotten Mickey right away, and Mike would have maybe been sitting a little more pretty, but we could talk about that more when we get there.
Yeah.
But Mickey gets a letter. He gets summoned to the conclave. Mickey thinks it's Leroy, and as soon as he walks in, he's like, Leroy, and then Mike takes off his hood and he's like, and he's shocked. I didn't realize that there was suspicion on Leroy, but it seems like even throughout this episode, there are some people that are suspicious of Leroy, and Mickey was kind of the main one. Did this surprise you a little bit? Because I thought Leroy was just like chilling.
Yeah, I agree. I never got the sense that Leroy was anyone's target in the house.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see that was the person who Mickey like chose. This is the person who I'm gonna target.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was surprisingly more rumblings about Leroy than I expected.
Yeah, and Donna. They were saying like, "Oh, there's a lot of suspicion on Donna." I'm like, "Is there?"
Mhm.
I don't feel like anybody has pointed their fingers at Donna. I don't know. I guess I just don't have a good read on what's really going
Yeah,
on behind the scenes because I just don't feel like I know we say it every week, but I feel like we're not getting as much as maybe we want to get.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I just think the Donna thing stems from like the beginning of the game, and I think
Yeah.
that even though we feel and it seems like Donna has like crossed that bridge, in this game, the same thing with like the whole red team versus blue team, Trevon lying about his PR thing. Like yes, things died down, but I think in the back of people's minds they're still there. So I
Yeah.
think that's why Donna to me makes more sense than Leroy. If
Yes.
given that you all suspected her already back in episode 1 and 2, so I understand why you might. Okay, now we got out of Kuzi, we got out of XYZ. Donna has been under the radar, so let's think about Donna again. But yeah, Leroy to me came very out of left field.
Yeah, I agree with you actually, and I think also just the length of the game. It's a lot shorter than it seems because we're watching it on a week-to-week basis. This is the only
Yeah,
Traitor so far, I think, at least, that has aired once a week. Every other one has been at least more than once a week, or Peacock just like dumped them all on us one day.
yeah,
So it kind of is almost like we're getting the game not in real time, but like closer to real time. Seeing
hmm
one episode weekly makes it feel like it's way longer of a game than it actually is. Because even at
yeah,
the end of the episode today, Gerline is like, "So you can't just like be a traitor for 2 more days or
yeah,
something?"
yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, wow, really? There is only 2 more days." So this stuff is probably much more fresh in their mind than it is in our mind. Because like we
Mhm.
haven't talked about Donna in nine
Yeah,
weeks. We're on
exactly.
episode 9. We haven't talked about Donna being a traitor in 9 weeks. But for them, it was like 4 days ago, probably.
4 days ago, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So I guess that also is kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a weird mind trick. Um, Mike says to Mickey, "There's no one else I can imagine riding this wave with than you." And I'm just like, what is, I don't know, this guy kills me. And Mickey's like, I guess I'd have to die if I can't be a traitor. I'm like, well, you can't know who the traitor is and stay in the
Yeah,
game. So obviously, um, I don't know. Mickey also said, like, wait, can I trust you? And Mike was like, I mean, right now. And I'm like, that should have been your first. He didn't say yes.
yeah.
He was just like, I mean, yeah, right now. And I was like, what? Why would you say such a thing?
And that also got to me because I'm like, can you trust Mike, bro? Mike threw Mel A and Kuzi under the bus.
Dude, yes.
Why would you
Think about
trust?
it.
If I were Mickey, the moment I'd be like, yes, I'll be a traitor. That moment, oh my god, there's so much suspicion on Mike. That's it. Mike's my target.
Yes,
I
Mickey, we
feel like
needed you
if
to turn
Mickey
it
were
on here.
anyone else in the house, Mickey's gears would have been moving. But it's
Yep.
Mickey, so like I'm not shocked that Mickey's like, yeah, of course you can trust me.
I know. I guess in this sense, it is a pretty good decision for Mike because truly anyone else would have been like, oh, now I have confirmation it's Mike. I'm throwing this guy immediately under the bus because he's
Yeah.
clearly going to do it to me. And Mickey was just like, okay, what a
Mhm.
dope. What a dope.
That's the best way to describe Mickey.
He's a total dope. Um, so that's it. Mickey's a traitor now. Great. I was just like, I guess we're going to have much more Mickey on the
Yes,
screen.
you see, I agree. This is what I was saying. Like, this is when the episode to me, I was like, this episode's gonna be terrible. Like, do I even want to finish this season? Look,
Me
I'm not even kidding.
too.
Like,
Me too.
these last 2 episodes are gonna be miserable. When I saw him
Yes.
pick Mickey, but by the end, like I said, they got me back on
Yeah.
team finish Traitors Canada. So as we get there, I'll discuss what got me excited about the end game.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, one of my notes was like, I can't believe I'm gonna have more Mickey now. I
Yeah.
have to watch more Mickey. But you're right. I think, we can breathe a sigh of relief. We get to breakfast. It's Mike and Leroy together, just the two of them. I'm sorry, Leroy and Mickey, not Mike. Sorry.
Mickey.
And Leroy is telling Mickey, like, Mike really won me over last night. He's like, I can really trust him. I think, and I'm like, dude, you are the biggest idiot. Like, the biggest idiot.
Yeah.
I just can't. The only person in this game, Gerline, I think, probably knows it's Mike. I have a feeling that she knows and is just not
Yeah.
being loud about it. Trevon is the only one that is putting logic together. And I never
Mhm.
thought from episode 1 to now that I would be on the Trevon. I would be the conductor of the Trevon stand train.
The only one on
But
that train.
yes, there might not be anybody on it with me, but I'm driving this train to the end. And he's the only one that's like, he went for Kuzi, they were fighting with each other. Hello. And I'm like, thank you. The only one thinking.
I agree.
But Leroy is like, oh no, like Mike won me over. He did great last night. And Mickey's just like giggling. And I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, you
like a
gotta
little
get it
schoolgirl.
together. Yeah, you gotta get it
Oh,
together.
come on.
Yeah, Mickey's a mess. He's like eating and like giggling. I'm like, you guys have to see that he's like losing it right here. I
Yeah,
don't know. And he's just like,
he
it's easy
was
to hide
not playing
behind a
it off like,
smile.
yeah.
No,
He
it's
was
not.
not playing off of like he kept saying throughout the episode, I make sure I don't change, blah blah blah. I don't know. To me, if I were in that house, it seemed like you're changing a bit. Maybe
Oh
for
yeah.
the worse, honestly. You're becoming very sus, very laughy, giddy. Like you were more like,
Yes.
so I think he was not doing a good job of hiding himself, even though he kept saying, I'm trying to hide myself by not saying anything. He wasn't doing himself any favors.
Totally. Yes, I agree with you 1,000%. It felt like I don't know, just became he has been a goofball the whole time, but he wasn't like outwardly a goofball. And this episode, I just feel like he's like, I don't know. I just all over the place, everywhere he was. I was like, oh, this is a mess. This is a mess. Mike comes in next. He's flying solo. He's like kicking his foot in the door, like, and I'm like, I can't. Ugh. And
Like Mike's annoying. I'm sorry, he is annoying.
he's
You're right, Katie.
so
I don't
annoying.
like Mike, but like the things he's
I,
doing this episode are just
I
good gameplay.
just he makes me want to I just want to scream. I can't believe I can't believe it's working, and I can't believe people want to be like around this guy. And then when
Yeah.
he's now taking Kuzi's place in Gurleen and Leroy's alliance, I wanted to like throw him out a window. I'm like,
Okay, yes,
no.
that made me like want to throw up. Like,
Yes.
I cannot believe that now I have to deal with Mike in this little alliance.
No, I can't. But he comes in, he feels validated by whatever conversation he had with Leroy. He feels like Leroy's on his side. Donna comes in. Leroy now all of a sudden feels weird about Donna, even though like 2 episodes ago, he's like, I really need to pick the people I want to work with. And I think my number one is Donna. And I'm like, okay, now you feel weird about Donna. Got it. Donna feels weird about Leroy. I don't know what happened to make them not work with each other anymore, but apparently they're not working with each other anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over the place. These people are all over the place.
They are, exactly. And one thing that I thought during this episode was this was another reason why at this point in the episode, by the way, Katie, I'm still like over the show. I'm like, oh my God, is this gonna become a Leroy show? We're getting so much Leroy content. He's getting a bunch of DRs. I'm like, wait, is Leroy who's left with a brain? Like, I cannot have watched Leroy game for the next 2 episojust. So this was another point. I was like, oh my God, it's the Leroy show, and he's saying Donna, bro, I can't deal with it.
I just don't even, I truly don't even have words for the thought process here. I just don't. Then we hear a gong. Where's Gurleen and Trevon? There can't be 2 murders. They can't be recruited twice. Like people got declined or people got blackmailed and they all declined. Everybody has all these theories going. Mickey's like, maybe I was the 3rd choice and they both got recruited and both said no. And I just can't imagine that, like we said, anybody's going to say no and then just willingly give up their prize pool or section of the prize pool. So I don't know. I thought this was a little, but I was like, oh, where are they actually? This is weird.
Yeah, for 2 things. First of all, I want to highlight the fact that you mentioned, when Mickey said maybe he's the 3rd option, and he goes, "Oh, I'm fine with that." Like, why would you be fine with being the 3rd option in any situation?
Right.
Like,
it's
it was just
so
another
true.
moment of me saying, Mickey, like, please, 1 brain cell. I need one
At
brain
least
cell
one.
to work.
At least
Come
one.
on, Mickey.
That's all we're asking.
But yeah, I was also wondering, how did they choose Trevon and Gurleen? Like,
yeah,
I
that's
wish
a good question.
The producer would have said something like they picked out of a hat or something. Like, why did they choose those 2?
That's a good question. That is a really good question. And I don't know. I would have preferred to see Trevon and Gurleen at the breakfast rather than Mickey, Leroy, and Donna and Mike.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what do they have to say about what happened the night before? I feel like those 2 actually have thoughts I'm interested in hearing, unlike the 4 people that were left at the breakfast this morning.
I agree.
Weird choice, but Karine comes in. She's like, something horrible happened. 2 people have been kidnapped in the middle of the night, and if you want to save them, you have to come with me right now and add money to the pot. So I'm like, oh, I guess we're just jumping right into this mission. And at this point, I was like, I think, and I still think I don't recall seeing this mission on any of the other seasons. It may have been in New Zealand or in Australia too, but this was new to me. So I was excited to see something new, but it was pretty boring. It fell flat for me.
Yeah, it was pretty boring to watch. There was, especially after last week's exciting challenge that like actually had game impact. This challenge felt so low impact. We did get a car scene though. We got Leroy and Mike in one car, Mickey and Donna in another. Yes, and I think this was obviously on purpose to split the traitors up. Yeah, I agree.
But Mike, I think, is already at this point throwing Mickey under the bus to Leroy. And I'm like, this fucking guy. I think my notes literally say, this fucking guy, holy shit. Because I just couldn't believe he couldn't wait a couple of hours. He's immediately throwing Mickey under the bus. I was like, I can't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
And this was the moment I wrote it in my notes. This is the moment I switched on Mike. I said, Mike is throwing dirt on Mickey not even 24 hours after. I might have to become a Mike stan because he's playing really hard. You know, I'm not going to give Mike my stan card, but I am going to give Mike is playing very hard, and I do appreciate his gameplay. I have to say, after 9 episodes, I can finally come out as someone who appreciates Mike's gameplay because he's really playing hard. Like, I can't not.
He is. I mean, he's doing shockingly well as a traitor. I mean, we thought this whole time, we've said it as for all these episodes so far, is that he's like a Christian. He's going to overplay. Yeah. I thought Kuzi was going to take the Suri route and get sick of it. She didn't. She just like let him steer the ship. I can't be mad. I mean, I'm mad, but I can't be too mad about how Mike is playing. I'm just shocked. I guess I'm at the point where I'm more mad at the traitors. I mean, at the faithfuls than I am at Mike.
Shocked that it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, if you look at US, Suri played such a masterful traitor game that like nobody would have suspected her. She didn't make mistakes. It was just like a perfect game, in my opinion. And then we see Mike, who has just been a mess. It would be like if Christian won season 1 of US. And I'm like, this can't happen. But it seems like it has a possibility of happening. So I'm just confused. But Leroy's like, I trust Mike. I think he's faithful. He did great work last night. He's great. I'm like, I can't take it. I can't take it. And Mickey, I think, is like, yeah, Donna. I don't know. Donna's weird. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going for like, is this really going to be like the Donna episode? What a flop. It wasn't, but like, that would have been a little bit of a flop. They end up at a fort, and we see a catapult, we see some wanted posters hanging on the wall. Trevon and Gurleen are trapped inside the fort. The other 4 have to get them out of the fort, and they have to communicate clues to each other, or Gurleen and Trevon have to communicate clues in Morse code to the rest of the 4 of them, and then they have to pick the picture of the person they're describing and then shoot a key over the wall with a cat. It's just like a lot of words to say to describe this challenge that was really not interesting. But that's basically it. It's just Morse code and catapulting some keys. And honestly, nothing really interesting happened here. To recap, they got the keys almost right away. They made one mistake. That was it. I was pretty impressed with the Morse code. They were like, we don't know Morse code. And then they immediately were figuring it out. I mean, they had a cheat sheet, but any thoughts about this challenge?
I really have nothing to say about the actual challenge itself.
Yeah.
But something that I wrote in my notes is that I feel like in past weeks, you know, we have talked about like production putting people in weird teams, slashing weird cars. And this was another moment for me where I wish production would have been more clear with how they chose Trevon and Gurleen. You know, I'm not going to say they are manipulating and trying to help Mike win, but I will say Gurleen and Trevon are the only 2 who have any suspicion on Mike. So to not have them at that opening breakfast, to
or
me,
in the car,
is a little weird.
Yeah,
you know.
No, I agree.
The only 2 are suspecting the last traitor left. So production is a little sus for me there.
I agree. And I almost wonder if they're like, we can't have Mickey be the only traitor here. We need to protect Mike for another day. Like, could it really be like, it cannot be only Mickey? There's no way that it can only be Mickey. Maybe. But you're right. I mean, like, to not have Trevon, because as soon as Trevon is back with everybody, he's like, it's Mike. Here's why. Kuzu's giving us a hint. This is why. And I'm like, yes, finally, yes. And then, you know, Gurleen says, like, maybe we can get rid of Mike. But I think you're right. And I agree. Maybe it's not that they're like trying to get Mike a win, but maybe they're like, we need Mike to make it to the finale. So let's keep these people away, and so they can't influence everybody. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know.
Which I don't love that if that is the case, but they chose him for a reason, right?
Exactly. You know, just a little conspiracy theory there from Silent Podcast about Sign the Traitors.
I know. Well, I'm gonna try and get an interview with Trevon for us, and I'm gonna get all the tea from him. I doubt he'll come
All
on,
the,
but I mean,
yeah,
maybe he will. Maybe he will. What else is he doing?
I would love some tea from Sign the Traitors from any of the players. Like I feel like there's a lot we don't see, and we talk about this often about
Yes.
how there's a lot that we don't see from production's end. So I would love to hear what they have to say about production, et cetera, how they choose things. So
All right, we gotta work. We'll work on that. We'll get someone. At least one person we can get. Um, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this challenge. It was nice to see something a little different, a different setting. I was like, oh, this is exciting. It did end up being boring, but it was pretty quick. Good for them. I will say good job on Leroy. He picked like the right picture almost every, I think
yeah,
one he made a mistake, but that wasn't really his fault. That was, I think, more Gerline and Trevon not knowing all the characteristics of the other people on the poster. So you know what? Great
yeah.
job. Great job, everyone. They won
Yes, they
$11,000
did a
because
good
they got
job.
one thing wrong. Yeah. So good
Mhm.
for them. On the way back after the mission, this is when Trevon immediately starts. He's with Mickey and Donna, and he's like, Kuzi put the exclamation points on her vote. She's trying to call out Mike. She knew he was a traitor. She's trying to get like one last dig. And I wrote, like, you're actually the only one left here who has any sense. And Donna was like, well, maybe she was working with Leroy, and Leroy's a traitor, and she's trying to frame it. I'm like, what are these mental gymnastics you're doing here, Donna? What are we talking
Yeah,
about? What are we
I
talking
don't know
about?
what Donna was doing.
I don't know. I don't know. This is, I've been back and forth on Donna. I gave Donna my winner pick a long time ago. I took it back. This, I'm like, all right, Donna, I'm done with you, Donna. I'm done. You're at the bottom of my list. You're lower than Mike at this point.
Yeah, Donna's not winning this.
No,
I don't know
she's
what
not winning this.
what her and her spirits are conjuring, but it's not working.
No, it's not. We see Gerline and Mike and Leroy in the car, and they're just immediately talking about Mickey. Mickey's giving nothing. You know, I don't trust Mickey. This is the only person we have any suspicion on. It's got to be Mickey. And I'm like, it's really going to be Mickey this episode, isn't it? This is when I knew. I was like, it's Mickey. Everybody's
Yeah.
anti-Mickey, which like I get, but
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like it's so weird how Mike has had so much suspicion on him for weeks, and somehow every episode the suspicion doesn't come back. Like during the episode, there's Mike's suspicion, and then for some reason, by the time we get to the round table, there's no Mike suspicion. What's that about?
I don't understand it. I do not understand it. Every episode, at least after Mel A left, or Mel whatever, Mel C, whoever the first traitor.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Someone has been bringing up Mike consistently. Kevin brought up Mike, all these people, and I'm like, why are we not? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, but who else? I'm just trying to find where I was in my notes. Mike tells Mickey, Mike and Mickey have a conversation after this. They're back at the manor, and Mike is like, oh yeah, sounds like Leroy's leaning toward Donna, and Mickey actually does lie to Mike and says that Trevon is leaning towards Leroy, and this I liked a little bit from Mickey. I was like, oh, Mickey's kind of playing. He's not spilling everything like Kuzi did.
Yeah, I agree, but also this was another moment, Katie, where I gave a point to Mike, because Mike is also not telling Mickey anything. Mike is just, everyone has said Mickey up until, like Leroy suspects Mickey, Gerline, and Mike does not tell Mickey that. So I was like, okay, another point for Mike. Like he's really playing Mickey.
I know.
Pretty well. So, but I do agree with you. It is nice to see Mickey do something smart.
He tried. But
again, I feel like Mike is just a step ahead of him, unfortunately.
He's just out of his league. I mean, like he's like in elementary school, like little league, and Mike is like a professional baseball player. Like he's just outplaying him. It's almost not fair, honestly. And it makes me curious, like first of all, how did he get on the Amazing Race Canada? How did he do? Was there any strategy at all, or was he just like a goofball there too? Like I'm not interested enough to go back and watch it or find out. Me neither. I'm not an Amazing Race person. Is the Amazing Race
a social strategy, or is it just like physical?
There are some strategic parts. Yeah, there are some strategic parts to it where like they have these thing called U-turns where you can sabotage other teams and people make alliances and stuff, but it's not like super strategic. I've only watched a few seasons of it. It's not I find it kind of boring, to be honest. But I know there's like really big
Hmm.
Amazing Race fans out there. So no offense, just not for me.
Yeah.
But I'm just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. My Mickey says he has suspicion for Leroy. Oh, Leroy and Mickey have a conversation alone. Leroy kind of calls Mickey out a little bit, and he's like, "Listen, you're giving me
Yeah.
nothing, and I need you to give me something. Like, who do you think it is?" And he's like, "Well, I kind of guess I would have to say you." And Mickey says, "Like, I suspect you until you give me a reason not to." And this just makes Leroy go like, "You're still not giving me anything. Like, you're not giving me a thing. You're giving me nothing to go off of."
Mhm.
And Leroy's kind of like, "Well, I think it could be you. Like, you're not saying anything to me." And Mickey just doesn't want to change his approach. He's like, "This has worked for me so far, so I'm just not gonna change." I'm like, "It's not working. You think it's working, but it's just not working."
Yeah, Mickey. That's the problem, Mickey. It is not working. And Mickey just annoys me in this conversation when he goes, "Oh, you tell me who you suspect, and maybe I'll go with it, or maybe I won't." Like
Right.
he's asking you for you to give him a name, and you're telling him, "Tell me what name you want, and I'll go with it." Are
I
you like,
know.
what, what's not clicking? It's just so annoying watching Mickey game. I don't even know if we can call this gaming. This episode is just so frustrating.
It's extremely frustrating, and I just don't know what Mickey's thinking here. Leroy couldn't be more upfront of like, "You're giving me nothing, and I
Yeah,
need you to tell me who you think it is." He's like, "I don't know. You, I guess." And I'm just like, this is really, truly crazy to me.
it's almost cartoonish, like a cartoon show, you know.
It really is. It really is. I just lost my screen. I don't know what happened. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I don't know. My whole screen just like went away for a second. Um, So Trevon then is speaking to Leroy. He's telling his Mike theory, and this is where he again nails it for me. And he's like, they're going back and
I agree.
forth, and they're the only ones that are feeling heated or like they have an argument. They're both upset. They're both pointing fingers because it's the traitors are going after each other, and they're like, "It's not going to be you. It's going to be me. Nope, it's not going to be me. It's going to be you." And they're pointing at each other to try and take each other out. And I'm like, this is such a smart thing because they really were like not fighting at the table, but it was just clear. It was like, it's either you or me because we both know that we're traitors. And then
Yeah.
Kuzi tops it off with the exclamation points. And I'm like, this is great logic. Spread it. This is so true. And in a
Mhm.
game where you really don't have that much to go off of, this is a perfect thing to go off of.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with you. This was again, Trevon is playing. He's playing a good game this episode, and he's making a lot of good points. And unfortunately, no one is really listening to him.
Yeah,
But no, I agree. His points are great, and he's thinking how I feel like I would think in the game. Again, it's always hard for us, since we know
I
so
know.
much more than them. But I feel like I would try to at least play like Trevon. Like I think he's noticing things that the other people are not picking up on. So props to Trevon, and I wish that there was someone in that house who would listen to him.
I know. And what do you think it is about Trevon that they're not listening to? Is it the PR lie in the beginning? Is it the getting emotional at the round table when it was almost him? Like, yes, he was messy at the beginning, but he's making great points. And like Donna and Leroy and Mickey are giving nothing. So it's like, oh, this guy's actually putting it together. Maybe we should listen to him. There's only six of us left at this point. He's got something we can probably go on. Two people out of the four are traitors. Like, you want to start weeding them out, and it's just like they're just ignoring what he's saying. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I generally don't know. It must be because of the PR lie slash the breakdown he had in the beginning of the season, and and this is actually perfect that you brought this up earlier in the podcast. But these moments have happened so close to them. Like it's
Yeah.
been like a 2 days since Trevon was wrong, and 2 days since Trevon, 3 days since Trevon had a breakdown, and etc. So I think that is so fresh in their minds that they just don't feel like they need to really listen to Trevon's opinions or his knowledge in the game. And it's unfortunate that no one is giving Trevon, like I feel like he's getting the time of day from nobody.
I know.
And I think that is why,
Yeah, it has to be that. It has to be like that this just happened 4 days before, and they're like, oh, this guy's a mess. Like, we can't
Mhm.
listen to him. Because to me, I've seen an arc of growth from Trevon, but this is all
Yeah,
happening
same.
so like day after day after day for them. Like, obviously, maybe they're just not And we're seeing an edited version. I don't know. But it just seems like, oh, this is actually a really good theory. Maybe we should just vote Mike out and see what happens. Like, why not vote Mike out? His name's been out there so many times. Let's just vote him out and see what happens. Maybe he's a traitor. There's only 6 of us. Let's just try it. See if it works. And guess what? It would work. It would work. Yeah. He's a traitor. I don't know.
Or dare I say, Mike's mist is just that good. Is that what's going on here? Is the problem them not trusting Trayvon, or is the problem Mike is just misting these people so well, and they just, for some reason, he's gaining their trust? Like he's I feel like he's Leroy. If Gerline was not there, Leroy would be Mike like 100%. So I don't know. It's hard to say what the real.
I do agree with you. I do agree. I don't know if I would say that it's missed. I think that these people don't understand how to play the game, maybe, and that just because Mike has been the one to call out the other 2 traitors. Hello, that should be enough reason for you to be like,
big flag.
It's got to be him. He's the one. But plus everybody that says his name is gone except for Trayvon. Like, I just don't, they're just not thinking about it. Maybe it is missed. Maybe he's playing magic tricks on all of them and wiping their memories. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Everything that I think makes Mike untrustworthy, they are like, this is making me think Mike is a faithful. And I'm like, what? 100%. I don't understand it. I agree with you. I don't know. Justice for Trayvon. That's all I have to say. I take back every bad thing I ever said about Trayvon. Mike, Gerline, and Leroy are talking votes. And this is where it seems like Mike is really now part of this alliance with them, which is just so annoying to me. And they're like, this is probably going to tie tonight, which I really wanted to see a tie. Like, I don't think we've ever I don't remember actually if we've ever seen a tie, but I wanted to see a tie. I was like, oh, we're going to get a tie. Is there going to be a revote? Like, what's going to happen? And, you know, they're like, as long as we vote together, we'll have enough votes to get out Mickey, blah, 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 whatever. Gerline and Leroy then, Mike leaves, and they're like, we could go for Mike tonight. Like, we can swing the votes. Like, and I'm totally in. Gerline is like, I'm in. I will keep it to myself. Like, I won't say anything. And I was like, okay, let's go, Gerline. Let's go. Like, I'm down. Didn't happen. They got me very excited for no reason whatsoever because it didn't happen.
For no reason, yeah.
No reason. I was like, okay. Okay. But at least that made me think. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go first, and then I'll say my thought. You can finish.
I was just going to say, at least for me, that means Gerline is thinking about taking Mike out. So there's a hope here. There's hope.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the things I wanted to say. I agree. Like, this is why I'm still rooting for Gerline, because it seems like her gears are still going and she's still on the Mike train. But also, this is another moment for me where I was, again, like, Mike is doing a good job. You know, he's now in the alliance that Kuzi was in. He's got these 2 people really trusting him. He's thinking like someone who would think on like a Big Brother. Like, he's talking about votes and stuff. And, you know, Big Brother's like my type of social reality show. So hearing like Mike talk about votes and how they control the house, et cetera, that just got me a little bit excited, unfortunately, because I don't like to be excited by anything Mike does in the game. But it just was another moment for me where I was like, okay, Mike is playing like he's thinking ahead, you know, and I think that's what I like to see in someone playing these kind of games. So that gave me another point for me, for Mike, for me to get off the Mike dislike train. I won't say hate train, but the dislike train I've been on, to like the neutral Mike train, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. I actually really liked this, and I don't feel like we get a ton of strategy like this in the Traitors, where they're counting votes and they're making plans in the event that there's a tie. And I was like, oh, I'm into this. Like, this, I'm excited to watch some of this math happen, and then trying to, you know, math out the votes and where, you know, if we have to split it this way. That I thought was exciting. And, you know, I'll give Mike props for that. He's thinking strategically here, and not many people are clearly in this house. So I can't get mad at Mike for that. I just hate seeing Gerline and Leroy embrace Mike and let him replace Kuzi so easily. It just, that one hurts for me. Poor Kuzi. Justice for Kuzi, really. Day, I agree with you. I know. Sad day. We get to the round table, and there's 13 minutes left in the episode. So I'm like, oh, we're going to see a crazy round table. We didn't see a crazy round table. I was like, really? This isn't that great. I was like, ooh, we have so much time. It's going to be a good one. And then it was kind of stale a little bit for me. What did you think?
I kind of enjoyed the roundtable actually. I don't know. I felt like
Okay.
people were. I don't know. I understand why people want to target Mickey, and I feel like if I were in this game, even if I don't think Mickey is a traitor, he's literally doing nothing for me in this game. So let's just
Yes.
get Mickey out. And my thought throughout this whole roundtable, and by the end of it, was that I hope that Gerline and Leroy are like on this like Mickey train because they are ready to take Mike out when they get the chance. And
Yeah.
my hope is that that is the gameplay that they're playing. That doesn't they want to get to the end then too, so they're gonna make Mike think, oh yeah, we're on the Mickey train too, to then cut Mike at the end, and that's what I'm hoping for, and that's kind of the vibe I got from this roundtable. So that's kind of why I was a little bit excited about the roundtable.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I do kind of think that's their plan. Like, it seems like, especially not to get too far ahead, but it does seem like Gerline and Leroy are like, us two at the end, we'll get Mike. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. If they know Mike is a traitor, I just don't. Does Leroy know Mike is a traitor? Because his confessionals are giving me that he doesn't think Mike is a traitor. And I'm not hearing
Mhm.
enough from Gerline to know if she really thinks that or not. Like, they're not giving us enough of her thoughts for me to know if that's
Mhm.
really what she's thinking. So I want that to happen. It seems like they're giving us breadcrumbs that could happen. But I want to know, like, give me Gerline saying, I am taking a traitor to the end. And I know it's Mike, and I'm bringing him to the end. Maybe that's anticlimactic, and they want to surprise us with it at the end. But like, I just want to know what their thought
Mhm.
process is a little bit more.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I agree. It would be nice to hear it a bit more concretely, but also I think you're right. I think that is why they're not telling us that,
Yeah.
because then we'd be like, oh, of course Gerline's gonna do it, you know. So
Yeah.
so maybe it'll be a bit more of a shock, you know, to the audience, like, oh, Gerline did it, yay, Gerline.
Yeah.
So
That's true. They're the storytellers, not me. I'll let them do their jobs. I'm just here to talk about it and critique it. Um, Trevon says that he hopes we get a traitor in his confessional. I was like, I'm rooting for you. I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting for you, Trevon. We got this. There's we don't got this. There's $87,500 in the pot. Keeping track. Next week is the finale. That's the last episode. So we will find out. Are they going to let them make up all the rest of the money with the final challenge or not? I have a feeling they're going to, but
me too.
we'll
But do you know
see.
how much is the actual pot? Is it 250 or 100?
I think it might be 150. Actually, I don't know. Let me Google.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually curious. Are they close to the if it's,
Yeah, I'm trying
like,
to Google without getting spoiled. Total winning.
oh, it's only 100.
Oh, it's only 100. Wait, it's only 100?
Yeah, so they're pretty.
Oh,
Yeah, so
they're
they're
going to
pretty
give him the
close.
money. They're giving him the money.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're going to give them the money. Oh, wow, that's really not that much. But in Canada, they don't get
yeah.
taxed on their winnings, which is
Oh,
nice.
nice. That's
Hmm.
nice.
Yeah. So if you go on a reality show, go in Canada because you won't get taxed. Leroy kicks the round table off and immediately is like, Mickey, it's you. I think it's you. You don't say anything, you don't give me anything. And Mickey's like, well, I actually think it's you because you're a great game player. And I was like, what? He is? Are you sure? Are we sure? Mickey.
Like Mickey has nothing to say. He's just
Mickey. Nothing to say.
I didn't know what to make out of that. I was like, okay, Mickey, like if this is Mickey's way of saving himself, he's doing a very bad job.
Yes. And then
Like,
he also was like, even if you're a traitor, I don't want to vote you out because I want to do the mission with you tomorrow. And I was like, what are you saying right now? What are you saying?
yeah,
That was weird.
agreed.
Very weird. Trevon actually made me laugh here. He was like, listen, I don't think if I'm recruiting, I'm not picking Donna or Mickey. No offense.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can handle the pressure of being blackmailed. But he's like, I don't mean any offense to you. But he did in the confessional include himself in that. He was like, me, Donna, and Mickey would not be able to handle it. And I wish he kind of said that at the table, but I did think it was really funny that he was like, no offense, but like, I wouldn't recruit you guys if I were the traitor. So it's probably not either one of you.
Yeah, I agree. That was hilarious. I was like, yes, Trevon, throw that shade on them, Trevon. That was
No.
so good. Because he's right.
He
That's kind
is
of what
right.
we've been saying this whole time. Like, you don't recruit these two because these two are not going to help you, you know?
Right. Right. Unless you want to, which is exactly what Mike was doing, just have someone to throw the
Yeah.
wolves. Then sure. Gerline or Trevon says Gerline and Leroy would make good blackmail targets. They're quiet. They have flown under the radar. They kind of keep it together. We don't hear a lot from them. And Mike is in the confessional, and he's just like, Trayvon has been a virus in this game since the beginning. And I was like, ew, that's kind of rude. I don't love that, Mike. But I like that Trayvon is under Mike's skin a little bit.
It's true. It is good to see Mike a little, like, irritated.
We need somebody
he needs someone to like put back on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
I want to say he's at smooth sailing, but like he's been sailing, and that's not good. I want some.
It's been pretty smooth. It's been pretty smooth, all things considered, because he's murdered every person that's even said his name except for Trayvon. He's the only one that hasn't gotten murdered.
It's true. Yeah.
Which is interesting. I wonder why. Mike goes around the table and just says something to all of them. He also said he didn't include Mike. Trayvon said he didn't include Mike in the blackmail conversation. And he didn't specifically say it, but I took that to mean like because he just believes him to be the original traitor doing the blackmailing.
Yeah, that's what I assumed as well.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, right? Mike goes around the table and is like, here's why I would recruit you. Here's why I would recruit you. Everybody could be recruited. Everybody has a good reason to get recruited. I'm like, okay, guys, like this is the one person who thought through all of these options and has a reason why. Hello? Yeah. Oh, it's just crazy.
Come on, Katie. I got so angry here. I was like, what are these people doing?
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, you clearly thought through this last night when you were blackmailing someone. You thought through reasons for every single person. No one else here at this table did.
That is the most traitorous gameplay that like he has already thought about why I would pick each of you to be a traitor. Because he did. Because he did,
He did, because he had to think through it. I mean, guys, come on. It's so wild to me. Oh, God. This is why I'm like, Mike is not good at this game. Mike is not good at this game, but these other people are worse. So that's why it just makes me angry. It just makes me so angry that it's working on them because he's so bad. He's just so bad. Leroy is like, Mike starts talking. He does point the finger at Mickey here. And he says, if you were a traitor, you'd go down in history and blah, blah. And then we get a confessional of Mickey being like, Mike said that we could work together and he had a plan, but obviously he's not sticking to that plan. I'm like, okay, so like, wake up, turn it around on Mike. But he just let it, he just let it happen. And Mike
also got a good,
go.
A good Mickey line where he says, I wouldn't blackmail myself. I'm like, what do you mean you wouldn't? Good in the sense that it sounds so dumb because, well, duh. First of all, you can't.
You can't, right.
So what substance? This is just more of me seeing like Mickey has nothing of substance to say because that means nothing. I wouldn't blackmail myself. What does that tell me about anyone's game? Like, oh
poor sweet Mickey. But he was just. He seems very nice. I don't know if I would want to like hang out with him, but he seems nice enough. So at least we could say that.
You don't want to catch some waves with him and Mike?
Oh, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'm definitely good. I definitely am not interested in that. I'm good. I'm good on that. I'll be having a pina colada on a different beach somewhere while they're surfing, wherever they are.
Far away from Mike and Mickey.
Yes, across the world from wherever they are. Yes, Mickey said, this is where I think he said too, like, I wouldn't pick someone who's easily swayable, and I've been swayed before and whatever, but Mike says something like, I try to avoid conflict at all costs. And I'm like, no, you don't. We've seen you get into conflict with almost everybody left here. So like, what are you talking about? Yesterday at the round table.
And they're eating it up.
It doesn't.
They're eating it up, though. They're eating it up for some reason.
I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Leroy does say he's a little worried. This is the first time in the game he's felt worried. He thinks there's a chance that he could be banished tonight. He does get a vote, but he kind of points the finger at Trayvon, and he's like, listen, why didn't you vote Kuzi? You said that you thought it was Kuzi. And Trayvon is like, I have thought it was Mike. I always thought it was Mike. I knew Kuzi was going to get the votes, but I didn't. I wanted to keep my eye on who I originally thought it was, and I thought it was Mike. And I'm like, good, great. You're right. You're absolutely right. It is Mike. Keep thinking that it's Mike. Gerline is like, I don't think that we're going to figure out who the original traitor is. Let's think about who got blackmailed. And I actually don't like this, unless she's doing this on purpose because she knows it's Mike and she wants to keep him. I don't really like this strategy from Gerline because it's like they're just picking who they would think would make a good blackmailed traitor. but they're not basing it. It's like it's almost like we're back at day one where they're like, well, you scratched your arm, so that was weird to me after the blindfold came off, so I think you're a traitor. That's kind of like the vibe that this like blackmailed traitor thing had for me at this round table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't really understand where Gerline was coming from with that, because if I'm thinking about who would be good to be blackmailed, I'm also thinking about who would think that person would be good to be blackmailed,
Right.
who would be the original traitor. So it didn't really make sense to me what Gerline was trying to get at by saying like, let's look for the blackmail, because if you're looking for the blackmail traitor, then you have to also be thinking who would that person blackmail, because not everyone would ideally blackmail the same person. So her logic didn't really make sense to me there either.
Right. I don't feel like that pointed out to anybody at the table who could be the original traitor, because everybody was like, yeah, no, Mickey's a bad decision to be blackmailed. But he was clear. I don't think anybody thought Mickey was the original traitor. I feel like they all realized that he was the one that was blackmailed. But like, did that point to anybody now that you can point to at the end game? Or is it just kind of like, okay, this person was a traitor for 12 hours and now they're gone. So they didn't really have an impact and they didn't give us information. I don't know. It just seems like I would still be going for the original traitor. That's who you have the most evidence against. If you have a hunch, let's go with it and worry about the person who just got in this role and who's probably going to screw up over the next 24 hours.
Agreed.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that would be the smarter approach.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to hear more of Gerline's thought process here. Like, I just am not, just generally, like, give us more confessionals for Gerline. I just don't feel like we're getting enough from her.
Yeah, I feel like especially if Gerline's going to be our winner, I want to see more of Gerline's thought process.
Yeah, like give me her game thoughts and like how she's planning on winning at the end. We're getting bits and pieces. So I'm piecing together like, okay, Gerline's like playing everybody. She knows that it's Mike and she and Leroy are gonna vote him out at the end. That's gonna be the plan. Maybe they'll split the money. That would be great. I'm just assuming that's what they're trying to tell us here. I'm not getting anything from Gerline other than like a few episodes ago where she said, if Kuzi's a traitor, she's not gonna get rid of me. So like I should keep her. Should have kept her. Like, I don't know. But I don't know. We'll see. Fingers crossed for next week. But Karine, Trevon does talk a little bit about Mike. He does bring up the exclamation point thing, but he doesn't go hard enough. And this is where I'm like, Trevon, if you want it, you got to really go for it here. This is the moment where you really have to go for Mike. You have to make it a thing. Lay out all the evidence on the table. Put it all out there from week one. You knew that it was Mel, whatever. You knew that it was Kuzi. Everybody that's brought up your name has been murdered. Yesterday, you and Kuzi were going at it because you both knew you were traitors. She put exclamation points. It's clearly you, blah, blah, blah. But he like didn't do any of that. He just kind of was like, I don't know. I still do think it's Mike. And this is where I'm like, come on, Trevon. We need you to have some like, I don't know. Have some gusto here. Is that a word? I don't even know. But like, have some passion about it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I feel like there's just so many things that would make it easy to get Mike out. And, I feel maybe this was the opportunity. If Trevon would have gone for it and said these things, maybe they could have gotten out Mike. Why Trevon isn't going harder for Mike, I'm not sure. Maybe he's trying to do what we think Gerline's doing. He's thinking that he can make it to the end and then vote out Mike at the end. I don't know, because we haven't heard Trevon say that.
Right.
So I agree with you. I don't know why Trevon didn't go harder with all the mountain of evidence against this man.
Right. And I also feel like Mickey, if he had any sense, should have flipped his vote to Mike. Hello, do you not realize what's happening to you right now? You see Trevon's probably voting for Mike. Just vote for Mike and maybe you'll get another vote. Because guess what? Donna also voted for Mike. So it
would have been tied.
It would have been tied. If Mickey didn't vote for Leroy, it would have been tied.
No self-preservation from this man. None. He does not want to win.
None at all. No, he just clearly was just like, he should have just been like, nah, I'm just going to go home. I don't feel like even trying to be fair. I'm just going to go home.
Exactly.
Because it's the same outcome.
You shouldn't have even accepted the blackmail.
Yeah, you should have just gone. You should have
no,
I'm good.
The blackmail. You should have just gone home and let them take out Mike, but then the show would end in 9 episodes, because then I think Mike would have gone home this week. So maybe this is production again saying,
what happens?
Mickey, you have to say yes in your contract.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen. Would he just keep recruiting until he got somebody and then Mickey just is gone? I don't know. I would love to know too, What happens if they get all the traitors out before the finale? What happens if we have a really great group of faithfuls and all the traitors are gone? Do we ever go to fire? Like, what is the game mechanics there? I want to know. Do we just like end that show early? I don't know.
Imagine there's secretly been multiple seasons recorded and they just never air those
Right?
seasons until they get to the right season.
Yes, because there were too many smart
They just
people
record,
on
like,
the
5
show.
seasons in a row. Exactly.
Oh my God, I would love to watch those. I bet if those existed, I bet they would be fun to watch. With smart faithfuls.
It would be.
I would love it. I would love it. Yeah, Karine cuts the discussion short. At least it seemed like she cut it short. Everyone's voting now. Gerline, Mike, Leroy vote Mickey. Trevon and Donna vote Mike. Mickey votes Leroy. Mickey is gone. And they almost like took a minute to announce like, okay, Mickey, you're gone. I'm like, do we have more votes coming? Like it seemed like there were more votes or something was going to happen, but no, it just was anticlimactic. Mickey's gone. Short-lived.
Mickey will not be missed.
Nope.
I like what he even says. I think I had the shortest traitor reign.
Yeah,
because
I wrote that.
Do shit.
Yeah, he's like, I
didn't
was a
do
traitor for the least
anything,
amount of
bro.
time in history. Yeah.
Freaking what's his face from the last US season lasted till the end at least. Ari before he gave up. At least Ari gave up at the end. You know?
I know, and at least well, I was gonna say at least he had an impact, but like he just quit. So I guess
Did he? Yeah. I don't know, but yeah.
Not he didn't really. Yeah. But the guy in the UK, I told you and Janelle last week, who got blackmailed, he really threw the traitor under the bus when he got kind of screwed, and it was beautiful. And people were very upset about it on the internet, but it was beautiful TV, and I loved every second of it. So he made an impact. He was a traitor for a short time, but he did make an impact. So
that's honestly that's what I would do. The moment I got any inkling that Mike recruited me and is trying to backstab me, listen, I'm raising hell here. We're all going home. Like, we're all losing. I don't care. I'm gonna do what I need to do because you do not recruit me, make me think I can trust you to then backstab me. It's just not gonna work for me. It's just not.
Exactly. How do you just let somebody use you in that way to get them further in the game without even having one thing to say to stand up for yourself, one way to throw them under the bus on your way out? Just you have to do something. You have to do something. Mickey just was like, all right, see ya. He's like, good game, can't win them all, but I'm a traitor, bye. And I'm like, wow, even your exit was like a flop.
Exactly. Loser. Sorry.
He's a loser. He is a loser. He is. Sadly, I'm sorry.
You're a nice guy, Mickey.
He is. I'm nice
just
people are not
about
made
the
for
game
reality
mode, bro.
television.
I'm sure you're a great person.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mess. One thing I thought was really funny was Gerline told Trevon to put his pen away because he was like shocked. And she's like, just put your pen away because he threw it when Mel A got kicked out. And I thought that was really funny.
I agree. That was a good moment.
Yeah, I like that. We also got no murder tonight, which I was thrilled because I thought Trevon was going to be out. Like I assumed like, okay, if Mike murders one solo tonight, Trevon is gone. It's going to be just Mike's going to walk his way to the end, but Karine says no murder. And I'm like, whew, okay, Trevon is safe for another episode at least. So I was happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm just really
I agree. I mean, I think if they would have made another murder, it would have made it too easy for Mike.
Way too easy for Mike. Way too easy. And I assume he's not going to be recruiting anybody for the final episode. I don't know, but I mean, that would be a little crazy to me. But we're at the final 5. Next week is the finale. We get a little bit of a recap after the roundtable. Donna is beside herself. My vote is wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. And I'm like, actually, ma'am, your vote was correct. Your vote was correct. You just voted for the other traitor. Maybe you didn't have the majority, but your vote was right. So like, relax. Just because Mike didn't go doesn't mean that your vote was wrong. And Trevon says the same thing. He's like, I haven't had a single correct vote. I'm like, actually, you voted correctly many times. You voted for Mike. Every time you voted for Mike, it's been right. It just didn't get the traction. So like, you're right. It's not a wrong vote. You just didn't have the numbers. But Donna's like, forget it. It's Leroy. I'm out of here.
Yeah. The only thing I wish I feel like I don't know why Donna voted Mike.
I
And
know.
that would have been a good moment to see like Donna's game mind. And maybe Donna had a really good read on why, because we keep hyping up Trevon because he's making all these good reads because we're hearing them. So I would have loved to hear why Donna put Mike. So maybe I could give Donna some credit. Like, okay, Donna, you're actually playing the game. You're not a Mickey. Like, so it would have been nice to
Right.
hear why she went for Mike as opposed to, oh, I'm sorry, I voted for you, and now I'm voting for Leroy. Like,
Right.
come on, Donna.
What I will say about Donna is I give her a little bit of credit because at least she is trying to play. She's not playing well, but at least she's
True.
trying.
I
She's
agree.
putting some names out there. She's giving some theories. She said Mike a few times and she was right, but she, you know, it's like she just gives up on it too soon. Mickey was just like, I don't know. Who do you think? I don't
agree.
know what I think. What do you think? So they kind of like toward the end of the episode, they're like, Donna's like a waste of time. Why is she even here? I'm like, she's at least trying.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
true. I agree. At least
she's a
she's trying
pain in the
something.
ass.
It might not
Though.
be good, but she's trying.
I know. Poor Donna. Poor
That's
Donna. Donna also gets confronted by Mike. And I felt a little bad for Donna here because I'm like, Mike, you're doing too much. You don't need to corner her now and be like, I've had your back this whole time. I'm honest and I'm truthful. But I'm like, okay, you're doing a little too much for me here. And she's just like, I know. I'm sorry. I trust you. I know. I'm going to go to Leroy. He's being calm, cool, and collected. Kuzi was calm, cool, and collected. And then Mike is just like, can't wait to eliminate you tomorrow. And I'm like, why are you like this? Why are you like this?
Okay,
sir?
I know you're saying I know you're saying you don't like that, but again, Katie, this was another moment. I was like, oh, Mike is doing emotional manipulation. This is a villain. This is how you play this game. I don't know. I was eating it up, and this was another moment where I'm giving another point to Mike. Like that was a great emotional manipulative moment from Mike there.
Yeah.
And it worked. I really feel like Donna will not turn her back on Mike anymore. So I really like that. I'm sorry. I know. I agree with you. It was mean, but
Poor
it was
Donna.
it was good. It was good.
She's like, I disappointed him. This breaks my heart. And he's like, I've been so supportive of you. And I'm like, poor Donna. Poor Donna. She doesn't need this right now.
Like,
she's beating herself up. She doesn't need you to beat her up over it. But you're right. I do think it was probably smart because Donna is in Mike's corner now. But he's like, can't wait to get rid of you tomorrow. And I'm like, well, then what? She's in your corner now. You did a good job of putting her in a place where she's not going to vote for you again. She thinks she's wrong. So why do you want to get rid of her? Take her to the end. Take her to the end.
Yeah, that's.
I don't want to take the smart people to the end. I want to take the Quintons and the Andys. That's who I want. I want the Mickeys with me at the end. I want the Donnas with me at the end.
Yeah, I agree.
And with no murder, there's only one more opportunity to get someone out at the final roundtable. So if they're going for Donna, that means Trevon's making it to the end. And Trevon is going to be like, hi, Mike's a traitor. And I'm voting for Mike. And you guys should vote with me because Mike's a traitor. And maybe that's the end of Mike. I don't know. I would love for Trevon to be like the final nail in Mike's coffin. I don't know if that's going to really happen, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I kind of like to go off what you're saying. Yeah, if they get rid of Donna, I think we said this for multiple weeks, but I just don't see Mike winning this game. Even though I am praising Mike for some moves this episode because I do think Mike has made some good moves that are getting him further in the game. But I still don't see a path for Mike to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Trevon is onto him. I do think Gerline is onto him, and I think that Leroy will be swayed by Gerline. So that's kind of why I'm excited for like the last episode a bit because I kind of want to see Mike's downfall, and I think Katie, you even more than me are going to enjoy Mike's downfall.
Oof,
so
I can't wait.
You know, the endgame might be a good final episode.
I think so. I hope so. We do get a really great. I know we kind of referenced it earlier, and I'm just looking at my notes and I'm laughing at myself because I don't know why I wrote this, but I just wrote, I hate stupid people so much. And I don't know who I'm talking about in this moment, but that's just my one note. I hate stupid people so much. I don't know if I'm talking about Leroy. I don't know if I'm talking about Donna. I don't know who I'm talking about here, but my thought remains, I hate stupid people. Leroy does throw out Trevon, though. I think that's why I wrote it. I think I wrote it because Leroy was like, I think it might be Trevon. And I'm like, Leroy here, here's the thing about Leroy. Every week, he's been hot on a different person. He's like, Yeah, I think it's Kuzi. No, I think it's Mike. No, I think it's Mel. Mel's been weird. Okay, now I think it's Donna. And it's like, dude, stick with a person. All the people that you voted out, except for Kuzi, have been wrong. Like, maybe let's stick with the Mike thought here. I don't know why now all of a sudden you want to jump to Trevon. Trevon's pretty obviously a faithful. Leroy drives me crazy.
Yeah, Leroy is. Yeah, I don't know what to say about Leroy. I mean, he flip flops a lot on his targets, and I just hope that Gerline can keep him on a steady course to get Mike out. Because otherwise, I fear that he will side with Mike. Like I see a world where Leroy is Team Mike over Team Gerline, and I hope that doesn't happen.
I have a very bad feeling about this, and I think you could be right. Leroy does talk to Mike and is like, we're in it. I trust you. We're good. He kind of makes like a final 3 on behalf of him and Gerline. Yeah. And then he goes to Gerline. He's like, I talked to Mike. We're good. We're going to go to the end together. We're rolling with this. I trust him. I think that he's good. Let's get out Trevon. And then Gerline's like, yeah, Trevon's kind of useless. And I'm like, Trevon is literally the only person that is right in this whole house, unless you are and you're just not saying it. But he's the only one that's been right.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about Donna. And then they're like, actually, let's get rid of Donna. She hasn't done shit. She's a distraction, but maybe she could be a traitor. And then Leroy and Gerline are like, but us to the end. And then we get rid of him at the end. And I'm like, okay, wait, say that again. Are you taking Mike on purpose to vote him out? Because I want to hear more of this. And then the episode ended.
The episode ends. Yeah. I mean, they like to end on cliffhangers, Katie. That's a pretty good cliffhanger to end on with the only two, like, even though Trevon has the reads, he unfortunately does not have the trust in the house. Mm-hmm. So the only two who I think have any power or ability to take Mike out are Leroy and Gerline. So again, I'm hoping this cliffhanger ending is foreshadowing that. I'm hoping that the fact that we haven't seen all this, like, so much from Gerline saying Mike, 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 it's because Gerline is Mike, 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 and they don't want to like give that away. So, we'll see what happens in the final episode, but I'm hopeful that they take Mike out. I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful too. I think that would be very exciting. What I guess I'm confused about in terms of like Leroy and Gerline's strategy is that it's either they get rid of Donna at the round table or they get rid of Trevon at the round table. There's only one round table. There's no murder. So it's going to be all 4 of them. So like, I don't know. Are they going to vote Trevon out as if he's a traitor and then be wrong? And then just say like, actually, I think Mike is a traitor. I just think they're still a traitor. Like, I don't really know how that works. Like, if you vote wrong at the end, can you vote again? Like, can you throw a thing in the fire again and say, actually, wait, I still think there's a traitor here?
Huh. I think so, yeah.
Can you? I guess, right? I guess you end the game when you're ready to end the game. So
yeah, I thought the game works. If anyone throws into the fire, then you keep deliberating.
You keep voting.
So if they throw into the fire, they vote out Trevon, and but I guess they can still throw in the fire again and say like, we know Trevon wasn't it. We just wanted to split the money.
Yeah, we want to split the money.
Us two, which would also be really good TV.
That would be good TV.
That would be really good TV if they're like,
that would be
we
great
only
TV.
Want to split amongst 2, not 3. Trevon, sorry,
yeah, sorry,
you didn't really
Trevon.
help us. So yeah,
I know you gave us all the information about why it's definitely Mike, but we don't want to split the money with you. So bye. I would love to see that. As much as I love Trevon, I would love to see it. That would be great TV. That would be like Johnny Bananas level stealing the money.
That's what I'm about to say, because we were talking about that last week. That's literally what it's giving, which I know people hate bananas, but I thought it was amazing TV.
It was great TV. Okay. I'm getting excited now not that I wasn't, but I'm getting excited about the finale. We have some possibilities that something exciting could happen. I believe that Mike will not win, but I believed that Mike would not even make it to the finale, and I believed that Kuzi would be the one at the end. So I've been wrong this whole entire season. So maybe Mike's going to win, and that's it. He'll be up there with Suri.
I will say, now that I'm on the neutral Mike train, if Mike wins, I won't be that mad. But I don't want Mike to win. I'm still hoping for a Gerline win. So we'll see.
I think I would be annoyed, aside from my personal feelings about Mike, about the edit if Mike ends up winning, because he's been like main character the whole season. And I
Yeah.
don't feel like he's faced much adversity at all. Like at least with Suri, like she had a handle on the game the whole time, but she had to figure out what to do about Cody. She had to figure out what to do about Christian. We saw her kind of, backstab Ari. Like we saw a lot more of her, like at least strategizing. Mike, it's just like, I just feel like he's been a mess and everything just ended up working out for him. So I don't know. It just feels like it's been too easy for Mike. Could we really just be watching that easy of a game and that's it?
But I don't know. I feel like when I feel like most people who watch Traitors US did say like Suri was kind of above leagues above these people. Like
she was.
I think Suri played a masterful game, but like Suri really didn't have any. Just because she's so good that these people just were not able to see through Suri.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Suri faced that much adversity when playing Traitors either.
I think her biggest adversity was her other Traitors and like dealing with them. But like the people in the house were no. I don't think did you get one vote? I don't even think she got one vote.
Like
her name was never out.
Yeah, ever. I don't think ever. No one ever voted Suri, which is insane.
No,
so I don't know. We'll see. If Mike wins next week, this podcast, I'm gonna have a lot to say because I have to relook at Mike's whole game. I might have to like look at a few episodes before and be like, why did Mike do this? Wait, that's why he did it. Because I don't know. If Mike wins, he really played a pretty solid game, but I'm not gonna go beyond saying solid until he does win, or if he does.
Yeah, I agree. My last question to you is: if you're a traitor, who do you want to be at the end with you at the fire? Who would you be keeping around here? If you're Mike, who would you be keeping around?
I would be keeping Donna and Leroy.
Me too. That's my answer.
I don't see how he can do that. Unfortunately, I think he can take out Trevon, but I don't know if he can get rid. I still think that Leroy and Gerline have a tighter bond than Mike, but then Mike can break that. But again, Kate, is what I'm saying. If Mike can somehow break that bond and get Leroy on his side, I might have to give Mike his 10s because that would be
if that happens, I'll give Mike the credit. If that happens, I will give Mike a lot of credit for sure. But
I don't think it happens. But if he can somehow do that, then yes, that's the only way I can see Mike winning is if he can somehow break up the Gerline and Leroy duo. What about you?
I agree with you. If it's me and I can figure out a way to do it, I'm going to the end. My ideal final group would be Leroy, Donna, Mickey. Those are the people I want at the fire with me. Everyone's gonna be like, no, we're good. But the thing is, like, they know that there's a traitor left, so unless they get a traitor at the final roundtable, like, they know one of them is a traitor. So I don't know. It's just, I think Gerline's gonna take it. I think she's taking it home. I don't know that Mike has. I think Gerline and Leroy are very close at this point. They're final two. They're cheersing their wine glasses. I can't see Leroy deviating from that, but who knows? Every week we get a different sentiment from Leroy. So
wait, but you know what? I think you're right, Katie. I think that if they go to Final Four with Trevon, Leroy, Gerline, and Mike, and they vote out Trevon, I think Mike wins. Because that's not fair then if they give him another chance to vote.
That's the thing. I'm like, I just don't, I don't know how it. Yeah. I have to think back to some of the other finales because I know there's been times where they threw the fire in. I mean, they threw the fire in with Ari, but he quit. I don't want to spoil any of the other ones, but I'm trying to remember what happened in Australia because I feel like that roundtable or that final was interesting. I just don't remember. I watched it so long ago. I have to go back and like do research. I just don't know how the way that it's been presented is like, it's up to you in the game. At least in the UK, it was like, whenever you want to end the game, that's like when the game ends. So it makes it sound like they can continuously vote, but I don't know what happens if they vote wrong. That's the thing.
Yeah. So I guess that'll also be interesting to see if they do go down that route. But that would be kind of bad TV, though. If, like, the whole time Leroy and Gerline were planning, we're going to get Trevon out to split the money. But then they get Trevon out, and then Corinne goes, oops, y'all should have gotten Mike out. Y'all wanted to be greedy, so now only Mike wins, which would be hilarious, but also sad.
I know. That would be. Oh, I don't know. So, I don't know.
I hope they get clear directions next week about, like, how does the game end? You have one chance to end it or multiple chances, you know?
I know. I feel like I'm overthinking it a little bit, but then I'm like, I don't know. I need to like try and remember. For some reason, I loved season 1 of Australia. It was one of my favorite seasons, but the details of it do not stick in my brain at all. But I remember watching it and being like, I love this season. This was so
Yeah.
good. It was just as good as UK. And now I'm just like, I don't remember anything that happened, but I know I loved it. So I have to go like think back to why I loved it so much and see if there's like something in the end game that would make it applicable here. I'll do some research for next week.
It'll be a big finale, I feel.
It will.
I'm interested to see. I'm this is why I ended off the episode on like I'm excited.
There's possibilities here.
Yeah, there's possibilities. As opposed to end of US, I knew Suri was winning. I 100% knew Suri was winning. Here, I see a path for Mike to win, even difficult, but I do think that he is gonna lose. But it'd still be interesting to see how it turns out,
Yep, totally. I totally agree with you. I'm rooting for one outcome,
yes,
but we'll see what happens. I like that there's a possibility that there are multiple outcomes. So we'll see what happens. But any final thoughts before we head into our finale next week?
I hope that Gerline wins. That's my final thought.
Me too. I hope Trevon and Gerline win, but I don't think I don't know. Can that happen? I don't know. But
that's another possibility, maybe.
It is, I guess. Yeah, the three of them could split the money. Who knows?
Team Donna. No, I'm kidding.
Donna's going to walk out of here as the winner, and I'm going to go back to episode 3 where I was like, Donna's my winner pick. And I'll be like, see, I said. My mind has changed a lot.
Donna's going to be 100K richer, and her spirits are going to be 100K richer. And
I know. I know, and people are going to want to hire her for all their psychic needs because she's going to prove herself. It's all going to happen for Donna. It's all going to happen for her.
Oh, Lord.
Well, Javier, where can everybody find you? What are you up to these days?
Yes. So everyone, you can find me at _the_Starboy on Twitter, where I share all of my thoughts on all the shows I'm watching. And you can find me here every week on Sign the Traitors. Well, I guess one more week. But the US version is supposed to start in January. So
US and UK. I heard starting January.
But I don't know if I could do 2 seasons at once. That's going to be hard to watch 2 things at once. I hope that they like.
I'm ready for it. UK's so good. I mean, I don't know about season 2, but season 1 was so good that I'll mainline them both. It's fine. But I'm excited to talk about them both with you too. You can find me on Twitter at RealSimKatie. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSimKatie with an underscore. And after next week, I'm not, for the first time in a very long time, I won't be podcasting about anything until the Traitors comes back. Or if we have more Big Brothers. I don't think I'm doing whatever that show is. Reindeer games? I don't think so. I think I'm going to hard pass on that. So, have a nice little holiday break. We'll see. But you can find us here at Silent Podcasts anywhere you listen to your podcasts. If you're watching us on YouTube, I'll put up our little graphic so you can take it all in. But you can follow us on Twitter at silent_podcasts. Search Silent Podcasts on YouTube and Twitch if you want to watch us on video. Most of our stuff is out with a video version as well as audio. So if you prefer audio, check us out on any podcast player and like us, rate us, review, subscribe, do all that stuff. It helps us helps us in the algorithm and helps us get discovered. So thank you guys for listening. One more to go. I'm gonna miss it.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.